Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Elise here of Plan with Elise, and today we are doing a much overdue Q&A video. I haven't done one of these in at least a year. I think that I remember one of the last ones being at one of my apartments, and I've now been in my house for over 11 months, and I figured let's do a Q&A video. So I had posted questions over on Instagram stories, YouTube community, and over on Patreon, and I have them here. We have a whole list. Some of them I got rid of because they were duplicates of others, but just different wording. And we have 33 questions here to answer. So I'm going to do my best to get through all of them in a timely manner. And we're just going to dive right in and get started. So the first question is, would I ever consider making my own line of planners like stickers and washi? As of now, I would say no. It's not something, I don't have an interest in making my own physical product. I don't have the time for it. Trying to manage everything for Plan with Elise while working a 40-hour full-time job is a lot. And the idea of designing and manufacturing and shipping physical product is just not something that I see in my path. Maybe at some point down the line if things change, but there's not saying that new products can't come out, but I think that with the massive planner community between all of the brands who make planners and accessories and stickers and washi and covers and everything, I don't know that I see a gap that needs to be filled. And I feel like products are most useful when they're solving a problem or filling a gap. So I don't see that in the Plan with Elise timeline, but it could always change. So never say never. The next question is, what do I do when I lose motivation for budgeting, but you know you need to do it anyway because the risks are too great if you don't? If you are finding yourself losing motivation for budgeting, but you know that you have reasons to be budgeting, make a list. You have to go back to your why. Why do you want to budget? Is it because you want to not live paycheck to paycheck? Is it because you want to save for home repairs or a big vacation, or because you want to save for children's college? Whatever it may be, you need to know your why, because when you feel like the motivation just isn't there for budgeting and spending time to look at your finances, being able to look at your why as kind of your North Star is the most valuable way to get back to what you know you need to do. The next question, how long do I give a planner or layout before I abandon it because it's not working the way you thought it would? I would give it, I want to say a month, but that month may vary based on the season of your life. So if you are a parent, the way you're going to use your planner in March is going to be different than how you use your planner in the summer because kids are off. If you are a parent who has children in school, I should have said that because my mom is a parent, but her children are grown adults. So thinking of the season in which you're using a planner is really important. It also depends on your finances. If you are going to be abandoning your planner and buying a new one, you'd really want to see if that's something that's affordable. And otherwise, take a look at why you don't think it's working. Is it the layout itself, or is it the way you're using the layout? Is there another possible way that you could use it that maybe will make it work better for you? Another recommendation that I have is to look at layouts before you buy them and see if you can replicate that. Take a sheet of paper like this. This is actually what I did before I started using a big Happy Planner, because this is just regular 8.5 by 11 paper. And I drew a regular big vertical layout onto pages and tested them out before I made the switch over to a big planner in 2020 because I wanted to see if it was going to be too big or something that I felt like could work for me. The next question, what are the 3 hardest things about being a content creator? Number 1 is time, because like I said, working full time, trying to find the time to create is challenging. The second biggest, hardest biggest, hardest thing. The second hardest thing about being a content creator is wanting to provide value and entertainment. That fear of what if someone doesn't like this? There are still times that I do a video and think that maybe it's not my absolute best, or maybe I didn't have the most energy, or I struggled with sticker placement, and I get really worried about what the comments are going to be or the thumbs downs on YouTube. And when I say really worried, I just like think to myself, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But it's not something that I actually lose sleep over. It's just not feeling like I did my best and wanting to make sure that if you are spending the time to sit down and watch one of my videos, that it's something that you are going to learn from and enjoy. And the third hardest thing about being a content creator is I'd say opinions about my life. I share a lot about my life. I have over the last 4 years, and sometimes there are messages or comments where someone has an opinion about me doing something that is a decision that I've made as an adult and as a business owner and as a content creator. And it's a decision that I'm okay with, but others do offer their opinions that isn't always aligned with why I'm doing what I'm doing. I think that what's important to remember is that as much as we share online, there's so much happening behind the scenes in our lives that aren't shared. There's challenges that we face, struggles, things that we're working on. And so even though you may see something, whether it's a planner switch or working with a certain brand, you don't always know every detail that goes in behind the scenes for that. In a similar fashion, the next question asks for some tips for someone considering starting an Instagram account or YouTube channel. There were a lot of questions about this. And I think that the biggest thing I want to say about this is to consider why you want to do it. If you want to do it because, well, let me back up and explain why I wanted to do it. When I first started decorative planning, I really wanted to share my creations and what I was excited about, and I didn't want to share it on my personal Instagram account. And I started to see in 2018 that other people were sharing on planner dedicated Instagram accounts. And I thought that that would be a great way to be able to share what I was excited about and find community in that. That was why I started Instagram. I started YouTube in 2020 because I had extra time and it just felt like the right next move for me. At the time, I had applied for Happy Planners Squad for the second or third time, and they had said no back when they had a squad. And I was like, okay, well, what's next for me? What's next? We are in a pandemic. What do I do with this extra time? And that's when I decided to start a YouTube channel. So neither of those reasons were ever about money. And I think that that's really important to remember, because if you want to start an Instagram or YouTube to earn money, my recommendation is not to do it. It takes a really, really long time to be able to earn money from these platforms, in my experience. And if you have a need to bring more money into your household, there are other ways to do it. I don't want to be discouraging and say, don't do it. Of course, do what you'd like to do, but really be mindful about the reason. For me, this is still a hobby that I've turned into a business, but at the very base, it's still a hobby. If I wasn't enjoying sitting down and creating videos and writing in my planner and decorating my planner, I wouldn't be doing it. So if the reason is because you find joy in it and you want to connect more with the community and you feel like you could do that with sharing content, that would be my biggest tip, is remembering, kind of like budgeting, your why, your North Star. So that would be the tip I have if you are considering starting an Instagram or YouTube dedicated to planning, or really any other hobby. The next question asks if I've always been so focused on time management. My ability to map out my days so efficiently is inspiring. I have not always been focused on time management. It's really something that I've learned over the last few years, trying to juggle content creation and a full-time job. I've had this conversation with a lot of people in my life lately. I think that the less time you have, the better you are at time management, because you don't have any other choice. So today's a really good example. Today is Tuesday, May 21st, and we are currently on my lunch break. And I know that if I don't film this video right now during my lunch break, I am running out of time slots to fill it. I could probably to film it. I could probably film it tomorrow morning, but that means I'd have to wake up early and blow dry my hair and put on some makeup. I could do it on tomorrow's lunch break, but I just don't know what else might come up tomorrow. I'm waiting on a couple of packages to be delivered that haven't been delivered yet. So I could film those tomorrow. And then Thursday, I'm leaving to go down the shore in New Jersey for Memorial Day weekend. So knowing where those slots are and what I can do to fill them is really vital. And that's why I think it's made me better about time management. And it really just depends on what my time slot is. Mid morning, when I go downstairs and make an additional cup of coffee, I'll usually do whatever dishes are in the sink or do a quick, spray and clean of my kitchen counter. It takes 2 minutes to make a cup of coffee or to brew a cup of coffee. And I try to make those 2 minutes count. Sometimes I'll even just check the mail if I know that mail has been delivered that morning. Like really being intentional, my word of the year, about my time helps with time management. Am I a cash budgeter or cashless? This year I'm cashless. I'm cashless. It wasn't fully intentional. I have planned all year to go back to using cash envelopes, but it just hasn't really happened. And a lot of that actually goes back to time because most of my spending is online. I'm getting groceries delivered because I don't always have time to go to the grocery store. I'd say the main spending I do in person is getting gas, which is pretty rare because I don't drive that much. I work from home. My manicures, I do pay cash for my manicures. I'll go to the bank and withdraw cash. And then when I'm out and about, I tend to use more of my credit card than cash because it's just easier and I don't have to worry because I don't have to worry about losing it and I don't have to try to schedule in time to go to the bank. So I think right now, with as busy as my life is, cashless is just working better for me. Have I had to adjust my budget recently for price increases in groceries and gas? Yes. Not in gas, again, because I rarely drive. This week I drove to get a physical to the doctor's office. I drove to go to the grocery store because one item I needed was not available in my grocery delivery and I still needed to go to the store. But I don't actually know that I'm going to be in my car for the next like week because I'm leaving in a few days to go down the shore. I'm not going to be the one driving. And so gas just isn't really something that I've had to change my budget for. But groceries, yes, I did increase my grocery budget because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get as much as I used to because of the cost of inflation. Am I still using my Moxie Life Planner and how do I like it? Yes, I am. If I have it right next to me or not, I am still using it. I shared it recently in a video, or it's an upcoming video where I'm sharing it. It's a really great place for me to map out my goals. I've had some Patreon exclusive videos recently where I share my weekly goals, and it's kind of that place where all my planners come together because it has space for 8 different categories of life goal setting. So rather than pull out my budget planner and set budget goals and pull out my social media planner and set plan with Elise goals, my Moxie Life has a way to bring that all together for me so that when I'm setting goals for the month or for the week or for the quarter, I can look at everything all at once and see where I might be dedicating not enough time to one area and make sure that I'm incorporating that balance. When it's time to buy planners for the next year, how do you decide which one you wanted? So my planner lineup is quite boring because if you've been around for a bit, I don't actually change my planners that much from year to year because I found what works for me and there aren't a lot of changes to be made. So I guess that in order for my answer to be helpful, if you are trying to decide which planner you'd like, and we're not talking about like colors or dividers, I'm really just talking about layout and maybe even size, is to evaluate what you're currently using. Is it working for you? Do you like it? Awesome. use that same setup again. If it's not working for you, what isn't working? Is it the size? Do you think that maybe if you're using disc bound, you'd prefer a coil or book bound? Is it the layout and looking at other people? And like I'd said earlier, who use that layout and maybe trying to make your own in practice, I think is really important. And of course, I'm always going to recommend setting a planner budget, deciding how much are you willing to spend on planners next year before these launch seasons all hit, because we are in May, teacher planners are out. We've got 18-month planners starting soon. In the fall is when 12-month 2025 planners start. Planner season is here, and it is, I think, just going to probably slow down a little bit over the summer. And then as soon as September hits, we are going to have 4 months of launch, launch, launch. So, budget, it's really important for that. The next question is, how did I get into decorative and functional planning? I got into it because I was sick of being on my computer all day and I was looking for a craft. And growing up, whenever my mom and I were looking for a craft, we would go to Michael's, and that's what I did. And I found the planner aisle and I got really excited and bought some products and never looked back. When did I start budgeting and how did my budgeting journey begin? I'm going to give a really shortened version of this because I've shared the long version a few times over the years on YouTube. But I started budgeting because I had to. I got myself pretty deep into debt and had to start budgeting in order to pay off the debt. And that was my reason. The when was probably 2018 as well for when I started budgeting. How do you become an affiliate with companies? This question actually came up a lot as well. And I don't have one solid answer. The answer is going to vary based on the company. So there are some brands that put out open calls and say, we are looking for affiliates or we are starting a PR team. And sometimes these are annual or quarterly. So sometimes you'll see it that way. There's also times as a larger creator that companies will reach out to me. If you are looking to become an affiliate with companies, my recommendation is to reach out to a company and say, do you have an affiliate program? Unless you already know that they do, and just ask what the process might be like to apply. They may not be accepting anyone currently, but they may give you some information about when they would. So it's really a matter of just reaching out. And of course, make sure that you're reaching out to companies whose products you actively use and not just every single company who makes planner products. The next question is, have I found planner piece? I have. I don't know if I have it right now. I'm getting there. Stay tuned for some lineup changes as I try to navigate what's happening with my planners. Let me say that my planners are working for me. They're working. I'm getting things done. Life is happening and it's in my planners. What's not working for me, I think, is just like boredom. And I don't think that boredom should be taken into account when you're talking about planner piece. For me, planner piece is having a system that works for me. And right now my systems are working for me, but there may be changes coming soon. Am I open to changing my planner lineup during the year if I find a cool new layout? Yes, absolutely. Stay tuned. What's my favorite sticker book from all time? That's a hard question. I would probably say Happy Planner Black and White or Happy Planner Journaling, because they're both such basic books that can be combined with any other sticker book and layout and design for your planner. This next question, if I had to choose one brand to get stickers forever, what would it be? I feel like this question is going to get me in trouble. But I really like the challenge I have with it isn't political or it's more of, I love the variety. I love that as I'm looking past the camera over there, I see a lot of different brands of sticker books. And I love that when I'm using Kelva Plan sticker books, I can always open them and find a beautiful floral. and know that it's going to be a really easy spread to put together because of how Hell of a Plan designs sticker books. I know that when I want really unique things, I have hundreds of Happy Planner sticker books that I can go through. I know that when I need boxes, I have Mojo Jojo Plans and Live Love Posh. There's always going to be some really beautiful stickers, and there's so many other brands. I don't know that I can answer that, and it's not just because I don't want to annoy anyone. It's like too hard of a question to answer. Considering starting a side hustle, I'm an inspiration. Thank you. What's my best advice? Again, I think it depends on what your side hustle is. I'm assuming that if the phrasing is a side hustle, you're looking for it to be for financial gain and not just a hobby. So I think that the best advice is to manage your expectations and do research. And there's a lot of get rich quick gimmicks out there that are not, they don't work. I see so many things on Instagram. They're like, by selling this digital product, I make $5,000 a month. Um, maybe, maybe that's possible for some people. The majority, that's not going to be possible. So if you are considering starting a side hustle, my best advice is to be prepared to work really, really hard, because none of this comes easy. And for me, it's worth it, but it's not easy and it's not going to be an immediate switch in your income. And so also try to not get discouraged and give yourself time to evaluate what you're doing, what you're finding that's working, and what's not working. This next question, do I ever feel like it'd be so much better if my niche was not planners? So I actually had a little bit of trouble understanding this question because I don't know what the phrasing of do you ever think it would be so much better if quite means. Here's how I feel about being a planning content creator. I am planning my life. I am sharing my life because my planners hold my life. They hold everything from calling someone to wish them a happy birthday, to paying my bills, to buying a house, to starting a relationship. My planners have my plans. And as a result, I'm willing to share anything on social media that I want to. I don't feel that because I'm a planner content creator that I can't share projects I'm working on around the house, or time spent with my niece and nephew, or traveling with my boyfriend, because my planner is how all of those things happen. So I actually think that being a planning content creator gives me more freedom and flexibility than if I were a recipe or cooking content creator, because I feel like that is almost more like pigeonholed than being a planner one. When you look at my Instagram, my YouTube channel, most of what you see are planners, but there's so much more behind the actual photo because my planners are how my life is being built. So I don't know that I'd ever not want to be a planning content creator. What is my favorite layout to decorate and which is most functional for me? I'd say that the most functional layout for me is a dashboard style, because that's where I map out everything for Plan with Elise. And because my time to work on Plan with Elise is so limited, I need that layout to be really functional. My favorite layout to decorate is probably the big vertical happy planner, because there's so much space and I can have a lot of fun with decoration while also making it functional. The next question actually is a duplicate. It's tips for someone who's thinking about starting an Instagram page or YouTube. And I think I answered that. Also, if I cache stuff, I answered that. What is my boyfriend's preference of cream cheese to bagel ratio? I don't know. He is more of an egg and cheese on a bagel person than a cream cheese person. And if you are a YouTube only watcher and you don't watch my Instagram stories, I really like thick bagel to cream cheese ratio. And I'm very judgmental of bagel stores that give me just a sliver of cream cheese when I want like a good inch of cream cheese to sink my teeth into, but it has to be whipped cream cheese. The next question, do I feel that the YouTube planner community is oversaturated at all? So I can very vividly remember being in my studio apartment, which I lived in from 2018 to 2020, and someone asking me if I would ever start a YouTube channel. And I was like, no, there's so much on there. Like, what else could I share? And then I started a YouTube channel. So I felt in that time frame, so probably like 2019, that it was saturated enough that I didn't need to start one. But now that I've started one and I've been here on YouTube for almost 4 years, I feel that every person has something special to bring to the table. We all have different layouts, we all have different styles of planning and styles of talking on video, and we all use different planners. I mean, I could give you 5 people using the exact same layout and the exact same sticker book, and they would all come up with something different. In a creative space, I don't think that there's such thing as oversaturation, because we are taking something blank and making it work for our lives and our creative style. I think that when someone is trying to grow on YouTube and just get started, that oversaturation may come into play, because people only have so much time in the day to dedicate to watching planning YouTube videos. So it may be hard to grow on YouTube right now with there being so many channels, because people are more likely going to watch. I would assume, I could be wrong about this, I would assume that people are more likely going to watch a creator that they have watched previously, if they only have time to watch one video in a day. That may be different if someone is watching many, many videos, but there's only a limited amount of time people have to watch content and spend time on social media. The next question is, who made an impact on your life and the direction you took it professionally? So, professionally, with my job, I am a project manager at a digital marketing agency, would probably be my brother, and all of the conversations that we've had over the years about work and careers. I would say that professionally, with Plan with Elise, would probably be Heather Keleva Plan, because she is one of my closest friends and such an inspiration as a business owner, and has always given me great guidance, advice, and support. And I'm so thankful for her. How would Patreon work for a member in Australia? So I do have a Patreon. We actually have some huge changes coming to Patreon. As of June, I will be having exclusive videos that are open to lower price points. I'm actually getting rid of one-on-one Zoom calls, but I've opened more slots to do custom spreads. So how it would work for a member in Australia, I do actually have a member in Australia, and the challenges really only come into play with 2 things. Number 1 is our Zoom calls. We have 3 Zoom calls per month. 2 are at 8 p.m. Eastern and 1 is at 7 p.m. Eastern. So obviously that time zone becomes a challenge, the time zone difference, if someone is in Australia. And then but my Zooms are always available for replay. They're recorded, and then I post them as unlisted YouTube videos either that same night or the next day. The other part is for custom spreads. I currently have someone who is in Germany that gets custom spreads, but because of the cost of shipping spreads to another country, we're doing a deal where we ship every couple of months. So there'll be a few spreads mailed in a few months, and then a few months later, they'll get a few more spreads. So those are really the only 2 ways that being a Patreon member would be impacted, is with custom spreads and Zoom calls. But again, Zoom calls are recorded and replayed. The next question, when do we get to find out the big surprise? So since December, I've been working on a big project, and I am hopeful that I will be able to share more information about this project in June, if not July, but soon. I know I've been saying soon for a long time, but I'm really, really excited to be able to share it with you. Just hang tight, because it's coming. It's coming. How did you make planner friends before going to Go Wild? So Go Wild is a planner conference that happens every year, different parts of the country. And my planner friends weren't really based on going to Go Wild. I was able to make some great planner friends really right when I joined this community, and they've stuck. And of course, I've made new friends. I feel like each time I go to a conference, I am lucky enough to have made more friends. But if you are thinking about going to Go Wild and you're nervous about making planner friends, not to worry, because once you buy your ticket to Go Wild, you can join the Facebook group that's exclusive for ticket holders, and there will be however many months before Go Wild, let's say 9 months, 9 months of conversations and opportunities to meet other people. There's also like newbie Zoom meetups before Go Wild, and just a lot of opportunities to connect with others before actually getting to the conference. While I love the idea of cash envelopes, most of my expenses other than gas or food are online transactions. What suggestions do you have for saving and budgeting related to non-cash spending? When it comes to non-cash spending, which I mentioned is lately most of my spending, I actually keep things in a spreadsheet. So, for example, I'm going to use my aunt fund. I am an aunt, I have a niece and nephew, and sometimes spending time with them costs money. When I budget and put money aside to be able to spend with them, I put it in a spreadsheet. So it literally says, Aunt, $50. After a day with them, let's say we went out to dinner, I go back to my spreadsheet and look at what I spent from my credit card. So let's say it was $30. Now my $50 really becomes 20. And that $30 I spent gets transferred over to pay that portion of my credit card down. I have it in a really organized way. It's just so difficult to describe because I'm not going to show my financial spreadsheet on the internet. However, that is something that's really, really functional for me. And it's probably the one area of my life that I don't fully use paper for. I do use a budget planner for every day, but when it comes to full balances in all of my bank accounts, the spreadsheet is what works best for me. The next question is, why do I use both a big and classic vertical? I've done a couple videos on this before, and the basic answer is because I really enjoy it. The classic has more accessories and options, so I don't think I'll ever walk away from the classic, but the big just has so much more space, and I don't feel like everything is as tight and crammed. So right now I have time to decorate both and use both, and I really enjoy doing it. And so it's kind of just like because I want to and because I like to. The next question is, what do you love most about planning with Elise? Filming, editing videos, meeting Patreon members? Kind of all of them. I love filming YouTube videos because it's so much socialization for me. Today, it's probably close to 2 p.m. and this is I haven't talked at all today besides YouTube videos. I have not had any work meetings this morning. I have not had any work phone calls this morning. I haven't seen anyone today because I work from home. And so, very often, filming YouTube videos is not only a creative outlet for me, but it's socializing, even though it's one way until the video goes live and then there's comments. I love having Zoom calls with my Patreon members. I love being able to go to conferences, and I love the friends that I've made from Plan with Elise. But I think what I love most about it is that I've found something that I love to do and I'm really, really proud of and I'm really good at and I've worked really hard at and been able to accomplish things that I never ever thought I would. So I have a lot of pride when it comes to what I've created here. A few more questions and then we're almost set. Um, why did I start a YouTube channel? Okay, I answered that one. I would like to ask if you could recommend a printer to use at home to print stickers just for yourself, not for a sale. So I don't actually print stickers really. I use a Canon Pixma as a printer, and what I print out are shipping labels, printables from my Etsy shop. Other than that, I don't do much printing. So I wanted to acknowledge the question. I just don't know if I have the best answer for it. The final question is what I use for lighting and my setup. So I'm actually going to show that in a moment, but we have to turn the camera around. So this is my filming setup. We have my desk over here and my phone goes on a mount here so that it faces down. I have these two lights that go over my desk and I just press a button and it turns them on here. And then when I'm not using them, I fold them back in so that they don't take up too much space on my desk. But I can show you that just with a touch of a button, the light goes on and gives me really good lighting at my desk. I will have all of these products linked in the description if you are interested in a similar setup. All right, those are all of the questions. We got through Probably 30 because of duplicates. I know I originally said at 32. So I really enjoy filming videos like this. I kind of delayed doing it because I know it's not just like be in my pajamas and have my hands in front of the camera. I have to actually prepare for it, ask the questions, think about my answers to them. But I do really enjoy doing it, and I do want to do more front-facing content. So if there's other videos that you'd like to see that include my face, please do let me know in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed spending time with me today as much as I enjoyed spending time with you. I appreciate your support so very much. And I think that's a wrap. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.